I'm experimenting with camera settings. What do you think? Hey everybody, it's me, Margaret. I'm a Mississippi native transplanted to Atlanta, Georgia, where I sheepishly share things I love with you. And today I'm sharing some crochet. This is one of my favorite hat patterns. I've done it before in the past. It's actually called the Puff Stitch Hat, and it's by Be Hooked Crochet. And if you haven't discovered her website yet, it's a blog, you really need to, because she's got not only some really great patterns that are on there, free patterns, a lot of them, I think all of them, but she also has some wonderful tutorial or tips or things like that thrown in on her blog. So anyway, this is a pattern that's actually written for worsted weight yarn, and I have done it a million times. I really like that yarn. I don't have the full pattern here. I only printed out just the instructions, so I can't tell you exactly what she used on that. But you know me, I don't ever stick with what the instructions say anyway. So the first thing that I used when I pulled this pattern out, because it reminded me of the model hat that she had here, was this Lion Brand tweed stripes in the color Popsicle, which is what I got from our traveling yarn box that I pulled it out of there. This is called Tweed Stripes, and I loved it, especially for this pattern. Isn't it great? Now, what it calls for, what the pattern calls for, is puff stitch all the way around. All this is puff stitch until you get to the bottom, the brim here, and then you do some some single crochet rows to put the brim on it. But of course that's not necessary. You don't have to do that, and I would encourage you, never stick with a pattern. I mean, the whole point of doing any sort of craft is to be creative, right? So nobody says you have to follow a pattern all the time. So I have this other one to show you where I didn't follow the pattern at all. This, well, let me back up. This is for a worsted weight. This tweed stripes is a bulky, and this is a super bulky. This is the Isaac Mizrahi craft yarn, and I got it on sale on clearance, I think from Michael's. It's a super bulky number 6, and I have a hunch that he's not going to continue to make this yarn anymore, hence clearance. But I could be wrong on that. But it's really nice acrylic yarn. No, I'm sorry, it's 85% acrylic, 15% wool. I mean, that's why I really liked it a lot. However, I modified the puff stitch because it's super bulky. Instead of, I'll probably need to insert a description of how to do that stitch real quick so you'll understand. All right, so here's what you're doing. You're yarning over, you insert the hook between these two puffs, you yarn over and you pull up a loop 3 times. So you go yarn over, 1, 2, 3, and then you pull through. See, yarn over, and then you'll insert in between here, 1, 2, 3, and then you pull through all of these, and those are puff stitches. So instead of dipping in 3 times, I dipped in 2 times to create the puff stitch. But as you can see, it's still a very similar look. Being so thick and bulky, it worked. And also another thing that I did not do is put that single crochet band on the bottom there, and I think it turned out great. Also, it's by its very nature, the puff stitch creates a heavy hat, so it's extra warm. But here on the super bulky, even though I didn't use as much yarn in each stitch, it is a very heavy hat. So much so that I used 1.5 skeins of this, and each skein of this is 68 yards or 62 meters, 4 ounces / 113 grams. So I used about maybe 1 1/3 to get one hat. But I kind of went crazy and used that pattern for a lot, including some using up my scraps because that's always fun. As a matter of fact, I've got another scrap one started right here. So I'll see what kind of scraps I can put with this gold. I told you at the beginning I've been experimenting with some settings, so I'm not sure about this. The camera that I use actually did not get high ratings for video. It got super high ratings for still shots, and I would agree with that wholeheartedly. But I just don't want to buy another camera, so I'm convinced that I can do something to improve my video with this camera. Just got to figure out what that is. Dun da da! I have a finished sock. Isn't that good? This is the Pebble sock pattern, and the yarn is Knit Picks Felici or Felici. I don't know how you properly pronounce that. And it's wonderful. It was given to me by Erin, Gimme Yarn 418, who is also my knitting guru. And I have to say, I absolutely love working with this yarn. However, I have a question for you guys. Remember, I'm a relatively new sock knitter, and I went to start on the second sock, and I pulled from the center of that skein, and the colors were backwards. The color patterning was backwards. For example, and it didn't start where the other one started either. So instead of going like this, which is kind of a teal blue, what is that? Chartreuse, something dark blue, other blue, and then it repeats. It was doing it the opposite direction. So I had to take the yarn and wind it. So then I thought that I'd started it exactly in the right space, in the right place, but I did not. So I've got much too much of this teal color right here, so I'm going to rip that out and see if I can get a closer match on this. So my question to you is it common to have yarn wound backwards sometimes in a skein that actually matches the color number?
Actually, I meant to say lot number.
I don't know, that kind of caught me off guard. And I pulled and pulled and pulled to make sure it wasn't just my imagination, but it really was opposite from the other one. So, yeah, is that something I need to expect? And in the future, I think I need to make a habit of pulling until I get to the very beginning of a color. I don't know why I didn't do that this time. I just started on this sock. But it's not that important, I don't think, that I have everything match exactly, but I would like for it to. I did try something new, and I started from the other end of the skein, as directed by Erin, to do my heel, so you wouldn't have that odd stuff going on down here. It ended up splitting my blue, so did I do something wrong on that? I don't know, I like it. I kind of think it looks neat sandwiched in there. But so I guess what my question is what is the normal way to do that with the single skein of self-striping yarns? For example, not choosing a whole nother yarn of contrasting colors for heels and toes. But did I do this right? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I think had I started at the beginning of a color stripe, it would not have split my blues like that. So live and learn.
Actually, this side looks a little better because you don't see that one stitch that it looks like I didn't pull tight enough right there. But it feels so good. This pattern is simple enough. It is a paid-for pattern. But it's simple enough to where you don't have to concentrate, but it's challenging enough to not be boring, and it's a really neat looking pattern. So, Pebble socks, can't beat that. Now, while we're on the subject of socks, I want to answer a question that was asked of me a while back, and that is, what sock pattern did I start knitting socks with? Because, you know, everybody knows I'm a relatively new sock knitter, and I didn't actually specify when I was first learning. Well, the reason why is because I didn't use a pattern. What I did was, first of all, I had instruction from Erin, who likes to do her socks top down. I had a book that Crafty Jen from Instagram had given me, and I loved that book. And essentially what each of them gave to me was the knowledge that you need sock architecture knowledge first. And that is to understand the parts where you've got a cuff, the leg, the heel, the foot, and the toe. And once you understand that, you can put any combination of techniques and patterns together. So, for instance, I have decided that I really like doing mine toe up, so I had to find a way that I enjoyed starting. Hit YouTube, read books. There's lots of different ways to look into the different options for toes. And then for the foot and for the leg part, any pattern that's out there you can use for that. I like to leave the bottom of my foot in regular stockinette and put the patterning on the top and then all around the leg up here. And then for the cuff, I'm generally a 2x2 ribbing person anyway for hats and stuff. I don't know why I like that, but I just do. But in this case, it made more sense to do 1x1 rib because of the patterning here. So that just kind of, just keep that in mind there. And I prefer the Fish Lips Kiss heel so far because it's the only heel that I've done into this point, and it fits well and I can do it. So I just haven't seemed to been motivated to try another heel as of yet, but that's not to say that I won't. It's just to say that's what I'm doing right now. So to recap, if you're just learning to knit socks or wanting to learn to knit socks, just understand that you've got each different part and you can use whatever pattern you like for each different part. You don't have to follow one single written pattern.
While editing this entire discussion about this sock, I've been terribly distracted by this vertical line that runs down the leg of my sock. I don't even see that in person, or at least I didn't until now. I'm going to have to go back and see what the heck caused that.
Now, I have been doing a lot of sewing, so much so with my research and learning and studying and whatever, that I think I'm going to do separate videos for my yarn stuff and my sewing stuff, because I know not everybody is as into it as I am. Now, there are some people that are, so that's fine. If you're interested, you can watch the other video that I upload. But for those people who are not, then they don't have to waste their time with that. Last week I did a video that was like 50 minutes and I felt really bad about that because I feel awkward asking you to carve out 50 minutes of your time to see what I have to say. And I just feel a little selfish doing that.
Wait, I better make sure my meaning was understood, because some people have loads of content-rich, long videos. But what I meant was that my rambling, chatty, low-on yarn skills self needs to be more conscious of your time.
But just because I've mentioned it before, and so you'll know what's going on, I had thought that this dress would be a good one for that fabric, the Jungle Book fabric that I wanted to make for my cruise, that I won't be wearing on a regular basis. And I did complete the muslin for that, and I am just not feeling it. I'm not sure I can make that yoke come out this good. However, I did see a video for a child's dress that shows a completely different technique for achieving this. So now my interest is renewed in this dress. But for the meantime, I decided to put it down. This week, McCall's had this big sale. I don't even know if it's still going on now, but all McCall patterns were $1.50. And I went to Hobby Lobby and I found this dress. This big one right here. Now it is sleeveless, and I did say that I was thinking about, not wanting to show my arms, but I discovered something very interesting about my arms. While they're not as toned and trim as they used to be, they're not nearly as bad as I thought they were if I stand up straight. I was in the getting ready to go to church the other day, and I had a sleeveless shirt on, and I was about to put my sweater on over it. But while I had the sleeveless dress on, I noticed if I stand up straight and my arms go back like this, they look fine. But when I kind of hunch and they're smashed against me like this, they look so much bigger than they actually are. And I was like, oh, whoa. Ding, ding, ding. But anyway, I love this little shirt tent dress. I thought that would be so fun, so cool for the hot summer and on a cruise. That would be fantastic. So I spent a lot of time working up a muslin for that because, well, I'll put that in the other video, but that did take a lot of my time this week. So I do feel more confident now, and I think I'm going to go ahead and cut the fabric and go for it with this dress. Do not forget that we've got that awesome giveaway going on right now. It's the Crochet Crate from the KnitCrate company and the crochet hook set from Old Shark. I've got a link in the description box. I made a mistake and didn't put it in right away last time, but I have since been alerted to that and corrected the situation. So the link to the Old Shark is in the description box. I'm using one of these hooks right now on this other puff stitch hat for scrap yarn that I'm working on, as a matter of fact, and it is a real stable and sturdy hook. I'm very pleased with the quality of this. And then also there is that adorable bag and needle holder set from the Steady Hand Etsy store. So if you want to know about how to enter the details for that, look in the description box below for the video that points you in that direction. So until then.
Hey y'all, I just wanted to come on and share what I've been working on this weekend. I think it's kind of cool. My name's Vicki, and I wanted to share what I was working on for the Sheepishly sharing drawing. And it's a little cozy that holds your little face wash pads. And one ball of this made 9 of these. And they're cotton, they're 100% cotton, so you can wash your face with them. And I figured they get lost in the washer, so I made a little bag to put them in. So you just stick all 5 of them in there, pull the drawstrings shut, tie it into a cute little bow, and throw it in the washer, and they'll all get clean, hopefully. I haven't tried it yet, so we'll see. And then you can take them out, put them in the dryer, they all dry neat, and then we'll use them again. So you don't have to use those reusable face wash or those throwaway face washes or whatever and mess up a bunch of neat little washcloths. You can get these as nasty as you want them to and then just wash them. So anyway, just thought I'd add that and see how it goes. Thanks for letting me share. You guys have a great night and a happy Mother's Day. Bye.
Last week I talked about Design Seeds being one of my favorite color inspiration sites, but then Kathy Tinkler introduced me to Pippin Poppycock, who uses yarn swatches to do the same thing. How perfect for us! I don't know what brand of yarn they use most often, but it appears that the brand is clearly labeled on some of the pictures. It's fun to look at. Thank you, Kathy. Now for today's treasure chest, I am ambling over to Amazon Video. Now it is important to note that I am an Amazon Prime customer, so I'm not sure if you will see different things than I did, but I put in the keyword knitting under Amazon Video category. And look, we have things that we can watch. Round loom knitting, sweet little poncho. I guess these are tutorials. Learn to knit 2, learn to knit 4, so I'm assuming there's a part 1 and part 3. Beginning knitting for left-handed knitters. I know we've got some people that would be interested in that. And then we have a bunch of things that are showing up. I'm not sure why. Learn to knit 1, there it is. Live at Knitting Factory, New York City. Don't know what that is. So I thought maybe we could discover some of these together. If you've seen any of these, give me a review in the comment section below. That'd be great. Or better yet, do a video review and let's put it on my channel and enter you for the giveaway that I've got going on. There wasn't much for crochet, but I did find that It's So Easy, the complete seasons are available for sewing. So if that interests you, keep that in mind.
And on a personal note, we had some more good news come about. Had an email that said Thomas was about to win an award. The date was last Tuesday, and I was to make arrangements to go to that. They didn't tell me what the award was, and they said don't mention it to him. So we went, and it turned out to be.
The award for Best Student in Chemistry goes to Thomas Olander. The next student is also taking his AP Calculus exam, and if they get out on time, which we hope they do.
So Thomas got the highest chemistry award. So we were quite proud of him for that. I suspected that was the subject that it was going to be, because usually his math and chemistry grades are very, very high. But that was really exciting. So we like his really cool medal he gets to wear and all that other kind of stuff. So one thing that was really funny about that video was, this is the end of the year, and we've been bugging him for about 6 months to go and get some new pants because he's growing like a weed, and his pants are not just a little short, they were massively short. Oh, and beside those 2 muslins, I also got a skirt done, which I am happily wearing at the moment. So if you're interested in learning more about what I was doing in the sewing world this week, then look for that in another video that should be uploaded here shortly. If you are not, then great, I'll see you next week. Talk soon, bye.